The rugby world has packed a lot in since March in England's last game here against Italy. And as it's the midway point between World Cups, inevitably talk begins in earnest about the next one. Especially with the final here, 2 years away now, almost to the day. And Australia, who meet England in that pool at this ground, with Cooper looking for Adam Ashley Cooper. And it's the team from the Southern Hemisphere getting into their stride first.
Very flustered start by England there. Matt Tomua's restart is very good. It gives Cummins a chance, but Tom Wood, we can see it hits Chris Robshaw on the head, and Marlon Yard was very shallow there, quite a long way in field, and there was space, and Cooper looked for it that time. I think he'll look again.
Tom Young's throws. Another Tom Wood at the line out. His Northampton Saints colleague Courtney Laws calling those line outs in the absence of Jeff Parling. Hasn't played every minute, Parling, under Stuart Lancaster, but nearly so, and England trying to grow another with responsibility in this area. Laws, the young man, takes it on.
Well, Stuart Lancaster won't be very pleased with the first minute there, because they won the line out, but they've gone absolutely nowhere. So Australia, from the kickoff, have taken the initiative.
Stephen Moore, the only man with an age starting with the 3 in the match. Goes in. That's not the best line out from Australia either.
Carry back in.
So a shaky start from both teams now. Here's Adam Ashley Cooper. Scored a couple of tries here in previous games. Israel Folau. In goes Tompkins, his first tackle in international rugby, and then he hits the ruck. Just a 2-year turnaround from rugby league, where he's featured in some very high-profile games. I know the England management feel he's got the temperament for this. Some of the home supporters thinking that was forward. Kurandrani. Penalty.
Well, that's a weakness of the Australian game. They do have a habit of overplaying between their own 22 and the halfway line. They think they've got this talent. They love to try and get people like Folau into it, and if your defence presses well, you can force errors, and England have done exactly that, led by Joel Tompkins, who started it with a very good tackle on the danger man, Israel Folau. That will make the Saracen feel very good about Test match rugby. Folau, a dazzling runner, but Tompkins nails him straight away.
And pitch side for us today is Will Greenwood. Will.
Beautiful first touch for Tompkins. Just got his head on the wrong side, but doesn't care. He's a big man. He's exceptionally strong. We talked about Falau's ability to counter-attack. He's exactly what you want. First cap, first couple of minutes, get me a tackle, get me in the game, set the platform for Farrell now to take it 3-0 if he can knock this one over.
Farrell, Tompkins, Ashton, 3 Saracens in the England back line. Here's the kicker. Already over 150 international points. Just his 17th cap today. Owen Farrell. We didn't really need to have any debate about that, whether it will go over or not. Toby Flood has got a very similar, in fact slightly superior international kicking percentage to Owen Farrell. He's got great faith in Farrell too.
Well, it's definitely one there for England's press defence without the ball. Australia just trying to overplay their hand, and a good start there for England. After a shaky minute, first opportunity, 3 points.
Lee Dixon, very much the form scrum half in the English Premiership. And therefore winning his place today. Ben Young's on the bench, Danny Kerr. And the Tuesday night drive away from the squad, something that Dixon has had so often. Genia takes it quickly. Dixon versus Genia, a key battle. Came forward off Wood. There's Cummins, and it will be a scrum.
Pretty decent kick there from Tomua, and you saw the bits and pieces of Adam Ashley Cooper. Outstanding player over the years for Australia. The way he chased that kick from Tomua, didn't win it, but he gets the pressure on there, and Australia forced the knock-on. and the first scrum. Now, people will remember how the Lions demolished the Wallaby scrum in Sydney, but that was with Alex Corbisiero. Today, Maka Vunipola, who had a harder time in Melbourne, he's up against Ben Alexander. Can he give Alexander the Corbisiero treatment?
Clear issues for Vunipola in Melbourne, but he came back in that game, and he starts today with a free kick for his team. Corbisiero hopeful of being fit for next week. Knee injury, Vunipola being knocked back in the tackle there. Don't often see that. Ashton got his verve back, got his form back, more to the point.
Hands on, that's fine.
Next is scrum half there, and there's Billy Vunipola. Fourth generation of the family to play international rugby union. First generation with England. Wood, good offload to Tompkins. Backs himself physically, and you can see why. Maka Vunipola, supported by Yard. Dixon. Farrell. As they try and build a relationship. Dixon looking over to the referee, as he's wont to do. Yard again, stepping. He shows his power. Something England have been looking for, that power winger. They feel that Yard is the man. And they feel that there's power to come from Vunipola off the base of the scrum, and also in open play like that. Farrell chips. It's towards Folau, who makes that pickup look ridiculously easy. Genia to Cooper. Mike Brown covering. He's kept it in really well. Now he needs to complete the job with that big left boot of his. He's got a round of applause, Mike Brown, and suddenly Folau, who was entering the line after a sumptuous pickup, is forced to show his kicking ability.
It's a very fine play there. The pickup from Folau was superb. Cooper's vision for the kick was excellent. This is a tremendous kick from Quade Cooper. But how about that from the Harlequins fullback? Knows where the touchline is, just places the ball down with the left foot, already seen to good effect. He finds 50-60 metres. Australia forced to kick back, and England get the line out. Lovely test match rugby there. The threat of Folau live and evident, but the rugby now, Sir Brown, also very prominent.
Stay at 10 now.
Tom Young started this fixture last year, of course heavily involved in the Lions series, but a line out not working there again in this match. England's turn once more. Tamua, Guradrani, a little bit of space maybe on the outside for Folau, brings in that Adam Ashley Cooper. Genia, a maul, advantage being played here as England had strayed.
Offside, 8. Offside.
And like England's kick before, it is very kickable. Quade Cooper didn't look like missing one, didn't miss one in Dunedin.
Offside.
England will not be pleased with this. We saw Tamani make a mess of one line out at the front. Billy Vunipola not on the same wavelength there as Tom Young's. England lose the ball, and Lancaster knows there's a chance they'll also lose the lead. A little bit concerned. We talked about England keeping width in attack, but Marlon Yard is giving Australia a great deal of space. You can see there, you know, that is 15 metres plus, and Australia have men, if you just run this on, who are very dangerous. England don't want to give Australia two men with 10 metres of space in that wide channel. He didn't step in, he's just at the moment defending a little bit narrowly.
However, Adam Ashley Cooper did step in. It was a vital 10 extra metres across the reset gain line, and of course that's a pressure point then, and it leads to a penalty. And Cooper the kicker.
It's a massive kick for Cooper because he's such a mood kicker. If he's on form, he doesn't look like he'll ever miss. If he's having a bad day, it looks like he'll get nothing.
Well, he was in the mood in Dunedin, and he's in the mood again, it seems. 3-all. Just a
slight argument with Varney there. I get what he's saying about Marlon Yard. Doesn't want to give too much space, but conversely, I like him using the touchdown as his friend early on. Don't come in, get caught stepping in at the wrong time. Backed his pace, got back out there, trusted the inside D. I'm not going to moan too much about that from Yard.
Scored 2 tries in that second test in Argentina. Good chase from Ashton on the restart. Genia dropped from not just the captaincy, vice-captaincy leadership roles in the team, but also out of the team altogether in the Rugby Championship. Oh, well played by Mike Brown again. Filled in on the wing last season, but fullback is his position. Vunipola. Tom Youngs. And Mako Vunipola now. Good carry from him. Who's going to come in at scrum half? It wasn't protected, but sweeping in at the side. Breaking the offside line again. Australia this time.
Yeah, Will Genia the man that time. Quite right, the ball had come out. England will need to be careful. Hooper, we saw with the Pat Sanderson piece a couple of minutes before kickoff, came through the top and one fair ball. Genia does not. There's the bits and pieces brilliance from Mike Brown. He does all these bits so well. Another super kick, claims the ball from Genia. Lee Dixon's pass after it wasn't as sharp, but that's cracking from Brown.
Played well for Harlequins this season. Hasn't always been going his club's way, of course. But even in the defeat against Scarlets in the Heineken Cup, came up with 2 tries and looked Harlequins' main weapon on the day.
Even though Harlequins have been struggling, Mike Brown has started this season like he left off last season. Tremendous consistency. Same can be said about this man and his goal kicking, especially under pressure.
And for once, for Owen Farrell, the flags do not go in the air. Andy Farrell, his father.
Interesting day for kickers. When they arrived, there was a wind blowing down Twickenham. 10 minutes before kickoff, a heavy rain started, and suddenly we seem to have great conditions. I'd love to know what the wind is like down at ground level.
Well, even when it was windy outside the ground on the concourse, you are reasonably well protected inside unless it goes very high. It goes pretty high there from Marlon Yard, but it's easily dealt with by the Wallabies. That's good aggressive work at the breakdown from the English players. Not just the pack either, Tompkins heavily involved there.
Was what England have to do. They were passive a year ago. They lost the battle of the breakdown, and with that they lost the game. At the moment they're a little bit quicker collectively than the Australians at the breakdown.
Stay here now. Set and hold. Crouch.
Yes, a return to form
Bind.
of sorts from Australia of late, but
Set.
only 3 wins out of 10 tests
No.
in the year. England the home side. Need to make Australia ask those questions of themselves again, and certainly at the scrum. And that will be very encouraging for England.
Well, for England, echoes of Sydney and the way Adam Jones and Alex Corbisiero tore them to pieces. Here you get a great angle. Dan Cole has got slipper screwed there. And Australia concede another penalty. And look at that, a strike. A thing of beauty and wonder. The hooker striking. Start this season, Tom Youngs was saying it's actually dangerous if you lift your foot to strike. Now he seems to have mastered the ancient art and doing a pretty good job there. Super scrum from England.
Johnny Wilkinson was playing last night. He's made the journey over Ben Kay, Dan Luger, Julian White, Mark Regan, Paul Grayson, Morris Delalia there as well. But it's all about these men on the field today. It's their day. And Farrell, an immediate chance from almost the same spot.
Same kick.
Same result.
Same hook. Well, that's a worry for England, but the good news is Farrell is a kicker. He thinks very hard about his game. He's got a routine, and normally if he misses two the same way, he can adjust it. A tiny bit of a slip, perhaps.
Tamur restarts. Extra playmaker in midfield, Matt Tamur. Oh, Folau, majestic in the air again. Australia's Rookie of the Year, no great surprise about that. Quade Cooper, oh, nice. Out to Cummins, Nick Cummins, up the touchline. Chips in behind, and Ashton's got some work to do because Hooper's after him. But the ball helped England a little bit there. Kindly went over the line. England 22 dropout.
Well, the crown jewels of Australian back play. What a contrast as well. Israel Folau, phenomenal in the air. Superb yard chases. Now it's my ball, and from that, Quade Cooper tricked through the legs, and suddenly Australia were on the attack. Dangers.
Kurandrani. Brumby like Tamur alongside in the centres. Ben Alexander and Genia. Launchbury was trying to charge down. Mike Brown in his typically abrasive way. England running into their own man, Joe Launchbury.
Something that Lancaster will be a little bit annoyed with. Made the point in the week he doesn't want to overplay his hand in the way that Australia did for the first penalty between the 10 and 20. Now look at this, Quade Cooper. Chris Ashton thinks, am I going to nail the Maverick? No. That looks risky, but that's a beautiful reverse pass from the right hand.
When you've got skill like that, you tend to back it.
Use it.
Yes, 9. Stay 9.
Genia. Here's Cooper again. Kurandrani crashes the ball up and finds 12 trees. Cooper going round the back of Tamur. Genia out to Cummins. Fractured his hand in Perth against Argentina. Back from that today. Ball lost forward. Brown again. Stephen Moore just needs to keep the boot down. Immediate apology.
Number 2. Yeah, mistimed it. Just be very careful next time, okay?
So flat, the Australian alignment. Genia's passing at the moment is very slick. You can see here the line, that's the gain line. Circle there is Quade Cooper. Just watch how flat, as we run this now, Cooper gets and puts Kurandrani over the gain line. You know where that line is. Bang, one ball, he's over the gain line. And watch this as we carry on now. Tamur, also a number 10, keeps him on the front foot there.
Flip side of that, Barnsley, cracking English defence. They send Kurandrani at the middle, 12 trees, stays strong. They go round the corner off Tamur. Tompkins reads it well, gets up, shuts it down. Then comes the big man, Launchbury, big hit, turnover. Really good defensive set, 3 phases. Aussies look flat, look dangerous, but the defence holds. You're always going to be threatened by Australia. It's how you deal with it.
Makes for a compelling test match, doesn't it? Great defence from England, Australia. Flat with Mavericks who can really open up defences. It's going to test England for 80 minutes.
Guys, you're just trying to... Wait a second. You're trying to beat me to the set. Just hold off that split second and we get it right. Okay? Let's see the bind up. Bind up.
Referee giving the players the chance to go again. We're seeing less and less resets in the game because of the new laws.
Crouch!
Of course, England in midfield without Manu Tuolangi and Brad Barrett, both injured at the moment. Launchbury and Tompkins, the new combination. Just about hooked that one back. Genia sensing, sniffing, coming round. England get away with it. Fardy knows it as he throws his head back in anguish there.
Much better there from Australia. Well balanced scrum. England didn't get the initial surge, and Australia put some pressure on England there.
I need that stability before the ball comes in. I need you working harder now. Come on.
You can see there's real stability. And that time it's Australia get the nudge on when the ball has gone in. It goes in. Tom Youngs doesn't get his strike, does he? I mean, that's a missed strike by Youngs there. If he strikes that clean, Miles, that's away.
Quick reaction from Chris Robshaw helped him out. That's much more like it. Getty is still hunting, and Hooper's coming off a bit early too. He's gone against the front row, which will mean more to the England pack than Michael Hooper being caught breaking away too soon. Farrell to touch.
Billy Vunipola, we talked about his game line, but he has to do the basics. He's done it brilliantly. For the first scrum pen that Farrell missed, he was outstanding, kept it in. Then when the one went slightly awkward, he looked after it, and again, there's keeping it in at the bait. Really difficult skill to do, but the control is needed if you take control of that scrum area.
Youngs throws and Laws can't take it. Issues at the line out. Hooper's charge upfield.
Stop 5 and 4, stop!
And Tamua's kick. Brown. Folau.
Stop.
A little bit of a kicking contest. Marlon Yard wants to take it a step further and call for the mark. Only 3 years ago was scoring a hat-trick on this ground in the Schools Cup final, Marlon Yard. Gives that a biff.
Decent kick. It will be Australia's throw-in, but that man, Courtney Laws, calling England's line-out's got plenty to think about. Jeff Parling, who usually calls them, will be watching. I'm just wondering, is someone going to talk to Courtney Laws, or is Laws going to talk to Tom Youngs and say, right, we've lost 2 at the tail, let's go for something a little more conservative, a little less ambitious. Let's try and get Courtney Laws at the front, something stable.
Australia's new captain Ben Moen really thought that his team could get into Laws, and his inexperienced internationally at calling line-outs. That's Chris Robshaw throwing himself in for his side, as he always does. And Yard's back to square one. Tighter angle this time.
Well, he closed down the angle there for Quade Cooper pretty well. That's a good take under pressure there. And he's not wildly keen on the kick, but it's okay. Chris Robshaw does very well. This time he is straight through the gate. Genia, the man tackled, was penalised earlier for coming from the side, but the England captain comes through on the key Wallaby. Great defence.
Forward with the take. Australia's most capped hooker Stephen Moore with the throw. Genia being held up, but he's also being driven. England get the turnover though. It was worth keeping him in the air, even though ground was lost.
Well, Billy Vunipola does a good job as well there. Genia was looking for the inside ball. Australia looking to put some pressure on around the fringes. England very organised and strong in defence, both one-on-one tackles. And with Billy Vunipola coming in, Owen Farrell there very quickly. And there you can see that's a clear choke coming up. Super technique, no danger at all of George Clancy seeing a high tackle there. Perfect, he wraps him up, that ball's not going away. And watch Owen Farrell, he comes in, Farrell goes straight in, gets beneath him, gets him up. Genia cannot find the solace of the turf. Great defence.
Man born in Sydney, Billy Vunipola, just 20 years of age. Years equal stones for Billy Vunipola, or just about. Slimmed down a little bit, would you believe? Worked on that. Gone to Saracens, and he packs some muscle, doesn't he?
It'd be nice to see Billy Vunipola, you know, playing the rugby 40-50 metres upfield. In the first 23 minutes or so, England, apart from their 3 kicks at goal, have had very little territory. In Australia, a little bit of a grip there at the moment, but no great worries for England. Nothing too threatening happening.
Brother Mako packing down on this side, on the loose head. Call for the second, maybe third surge there from England. Another scrum penalty. Dixon wants tempo, but it's not from the right place. Frustrating for him, frustrating for the crowd too.
Has to be somewhere near the scrum.
Somewhere near the scrum. George Clancy is not asking for 100% accuracy. Graham Roundtree is a little bit frustrated there. But I'm just thinking, Dixon about to do what he does so well for his club Northampton, and just inject pace into the game. England haven't been able to do that so far. They've been playing from deep, but Dixon saw a bit of space, and that's his brief. If it's on, go for it and just inject some life, because the forwards at the moment aren't having anything to come on to.
Well, Graham Roundtree will be pleased with this, the man who cruelly in many ways missed out on the 2003 World Cup.
You can see that.
Well, said it was his toughest decision, didn't he, for Roundtree, but come back to that in a moment. That forward effort will continue with this England line-out that works.
Advantage!
And it's another penalty. Farrell will fancy it.
It's an avalanche of penalties against Australia at the moment.
Step away!
Stuart, your point on that scrum.
Yeah, I was just about to say, as the replay carried on, you could see Lee Dixon 2-3 metres away from the scrum. George Clancy spot on.
Yeah.
Now this is interesting. It's about 5 or 6 metres infield from the 2 misses, but it's on the same side. We will be looking to get a good solid left foot and just open up a little bit more. Slightly closed shoulder there, and that's caused the hook.
Just getting inside that competitive mind that Owen Farrell so clearly has. He'd want it from somewhere around here just to show that he can nail it.
Well, there's no question about the temperament, and his technique is pretty good. It's just a matter now of readdressing the slight problem. While he's been building up, George Clancy's been having a word with Ben Moen about Australian ill-discipline, so any more penalties, expect perhaps a yellow.
Well, again, it was overcompensation to that side. I suppose he's getting closer, but it will not be of any consolation to Owen Farrell. That's 3 now that he's missed, as Yard takes it back for England. All will be forgotten, though, if England score from this. Dixon to Farrell. Now it's 12 trees. Down goes Dixon. Had to do it, wanted to be on his feet to serve, but Vunipola serves up something pretty tasty there as well. Launchbury, rare visit inside in opposition 22. Brown inside to Owen Farrell. Dixon again. Robshaw, the captain, on a plate again for Vunipola.
Advantage.
Another penalty coming.
This one's closer and it's on the other side, so you imagine Owen Farrell will kick this to give England the lead.
All for different things. Needs a better attitude from you. I'll give you time now to address that.
He's had the first warning about 2 minutes ago. That, you assume, is the final warning.
Yes, the stats don't lie, do they, on this one?
Is it 3 from the scrum, a few from the breakdown? Billy Vunipola, probably England's outstanding player in the first half hour. Solid in the set piece, super carry, and that's a really good offload. And Joe Launchbury, last season a teammate at was right behind him, breaks 2 tackles, and this is a really good supporting line from Launchbury, who does that so well.
Quade Cooper swatted away there by Vunipola.
Yeah, but let's not say that's because Cooper is an absolutely useless tackler. Yes, you've got to do better, but a few backs are going to miss Vunipola in the years to come.
Farrell then. Oh, he likes that post, doesn't he? But this time, gives a thumbs up. Still looks a little quizzical about what's happening out there, but he's got the 3 points in the bag now. And England have the lead again.
Matt Tamua, very good restart kicker. The Aussies have worked hard on that. And look at that again, it gives his men a chance. Folau is, you'd think he was blocked there.
They're not going to.
Well, it's just a knock on. Referee was right on top
he's
of
always
it.
trying to get to the ball, in fairness.
Seemed to have it in slow motion, didn't it?
Yeah, well, seen by many as the third set piece, and the Aussies do it well. Is Folau blocked here deliberately? Tom Young's... Oh, I think he knows what he's doing, but keep your head looking the other way, and there's no way the referee can penalise you. That goes down as smart play from Youngs. Very good kick, though, wasn't it, from Tamua?
But equally, we've seen many of those given as a penalty.
Just to the left of the mark, yeah. Whoa! Just there.
Assistant referees getting involved and just helping. The extra pair of eyes.
Yeah, I can see it now. You have it?
Recent
Crouch!
months, we've had assistant referees occasionally a little bit overzealous.
Set!
At the moment, the balance is pretty good.
Yes, 9.
It was for England there.
Stay near the scrum.
Get him to Cooper. Goes wide. Folau. This is the danger. The big danger. Down that channel. England knew it.
Yeah, ball is out.
Genia, he went backwards, and Australia going forwards with Vardy. Now it's the Wallabies' turn to sense that try line for the first time. Timani, big drive from him. England forced into some desperate looks here.
Stay on the line.
And maybe some desperate tackles too. It's slow ball. England charge out.
Ball is out.
Genia looks for Tamua. Scored in Dunedin, and he's scored now at Twickenham 2. Smashed his way over, and the confidence that returned first in Argentina and then in New Zealand despite defeat, well, it was in evidence again there, all right. Matt Tamua.
Quite brilliant flat pass from Quade Cooper, and Chris Ashton was the man who got suckered in. A beautiful fade in line. He just drifts off the pass there, Folau, and there's problem on. They keep the ball going. It's a gorgeous pass. Folau is past Ashton. He has got suckered infield. England didn't want that, and Tamua, who's had a very decent start to the game, is strong, and 12 Trees is not going to enjoy that. That's a big miss.
As powerful and as pleasing as it was for Australian eyes, as you say, for Billy 12 Trees for England, anything but. Bang.
We looked at the move before the game. Cooper flat, 3 or 4 options. That's exactly what it is. You've just got to be patient in defence. Ashton wasn't. Try.
14 or 11 rather. We'll tackle the player in the air. Be more careful the next time.
Marlon Yard, maybe a legacy of the try, and England hurting. Tamua looks a happy man, doesn't he? Every right to be. And that's a fine kick. Really good kick up the touchline.
Chris Ashton just got a little bit narrow. Now, you can see Cooper's throwing the flat pass, but just look at Ashton. He is looking at the man, and because of that, that enables, as the move goes on, him just for a split second to get sucked in, and Folau is outside, and the damage is done. Poor defending, super play from Cooper.
Let's go.
Long delay there from Moore. Referee encouraged him in the end. His players were shouting for it. Concerned that it was going to be too long. But that's a good drive from Australia. Hasn't quite gone for them in the scrum, or more than that, but they've driven well. A couple of good rolling mauls in this first half. Now they've got a penalty in centre field because of it. They're setting up the positions, and Cooper looks in the form, and he really shouldn't miss this to make it 13-6.
Well, it's a nightmare couple of minutes for Billy Twelvetrees, because he's the man who's pinged for going straight off his feet there. You know, it's a difficult tackle for him to make on Tamua, but he's a big man at 12, and he has to plug those defensive holes. He missed that one for the tackle, and then almost immediately after the try has been scored, he shows a little lack of discipline. He's off his feet, and it's a bang in front of post three-point opportunity for Quade Cooper.
Yep, perfect. Thanks.
When 12-3 has started for England, they've won against Scotland here at the start of the Six Nations. Scored a try in that match, of course. Dublin against Ireland. Yes, Argentina in the summer. And he got another try.
Well, the form inside centre is Luther Burrell, but Twelvetrees' distribution skills and the fact he's got a bit more experience gave him the job. But he's under pressure in this 12 slot at the moment, even without a couple of injuries.
It's Cooper. And that equals 3 points.
Talked about Quade Cooper and how he's just such a street kicker, and Ewan McKenzie will be delighted. He's shown great faith in his man, and Cooper's repaying it. He played quite beautifully. Anyone who watched the game in Dunedin when New Zealand beat the Wallabies 41-33 would see he is in the mood at the moment.
Better from Yard on the restart.
Cracking kick as well.
Twelvetrees down there as well. In goes Yard once more. Mike Brown. Tom Youngs to Mako Vunipola. Good work by the front row men. But England flying in. And the call is for not releasing.
It's a nice little offload there. England just trying to get outside the first man, but the Wallabies defensively very sound there, turning over ball, but they were very quick in there. And Tamua, who's had a good first 35 minutes at Twickenham, finds another solid touch.
Not so long ago, it was 7-1 on the penalty count. Not so long ago, England were in front.
It's a good kick-off, isn't it? It really is a very good kick-off there. Ashley Cooper, adept in the air, but Yard uses his pace, his explosive qualities to knock him off it.
Moore and Horwell. It's clockwork at the moment, that line out for Australia. And Ashley Cooper, back it goes again. Ben Moen, Genia, Falau. Good tackle from Tom Wood. England can ill afford to concede now before half-time. The boot came in from Tom Youngs, but it's still with Australia. Genia waits. Wood is trying to get through to put pressure on the Australian scrum half. Doing everything possible. Robshaw as well, but he's well and truly taken out there. Combination of slipper and Hooper. That's kicked away to Dixon. England go for space in behind. The Wallabies. Back go a whole host of men in green and gold. One of them Falau, and it's still in. Well, Yard opted for the line out, which he took quickly, and Brown. And then Billy Vunipola to Farrell, little delay, goes wide to Twelvetrees. Dixon. Tom Ward. Yes, he had to release. George Clancy. Hovering again, Dixon.
It's all a little indecisive from Owen Farrell at the moment. I just think at the moment his goal kicking might just have rattled him a little bit.
He's not seeing the structure here from England. Short to Tom Youngs. Dixon again. Nakavunipola, Farrell, 12 trees forward.
Well, that was better, actually. I know the pass is forward, but that was a much better ball from Farrell. The intent was good. They knew what they were doing.
There was a bit more structure, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. Trying to get that man 12 trees coming flat. Mike Brown, again, always beats the first tackle, doesn't he? And he gives you the front foot, but then from England, just a little bit indecisive. A delay from Farrell, and the ball to 12 trees gets to his man, but it's so loopy that Australia have got that covered. Good thinking there from Mike Brown. Find Ben Alexander and a giant like Tamani from the second row and leave him for dead.
Yes, I agree. I need to see that. I'm not going to talk to you again about it. Here's your mark. Yeah, it's good now. Crouch! Bind! Break it up, guys.
Well, this guarantees it will be
You both gone too early. Stop
final
talking.
play of the half.
No, let's go ahead.
Not really much between the teams. England have an edge in the scrums, but Australia have just shown a little bit more accuracy,
Okay.
a little bit more sharpness behind the scrum, and that's what gives them the lead. If they are to have the lead going in at half-time, I think Australia would be pretty pleased, because Twickenham is fairly quiet at the moment.
Kenny quite happy there just to twiddle the ball. He can't quite kick it out just yet for half-time. In fact, he's kicked it out on the full. England need to get into position quickly. Dixon is calling them up. England will get another play. Genia, for once, that computer let him down.
That's a real mistake there from Will Genia. He'd be really distraught with himself. You could see it there.
Just the way he was spinning the ball, and a Shane Wall in his hands before the scrum. Felt convinced he knew exactly where the clock was at. Not quite. Of course, he didn't execute on the kick, so Laws calls and Laws takes. This will give England a lift, and the crowd too. A score here.
That's one scrum half.
This juncture.
One.
A massive bonus considering Australia could have closed it out. And now it's England on the ball, looking on the roll.
Looking for 3, I wonder.
He's legal right through the middle.
Staying bound together. George Clancy, the moment happy, but then
he's fine, he's legal.
It became illegal, and it's half-time. And Australia, who have won 3 out of their last 4, lest we forget, at Twickenham, and hold the Cook Cup after winning here last season when they came as underdogs following heavy defeat in Paris. Well, they lead here this season by 13 points to 6. And Australia stayed out at half-time. On the field, they've started to do that. And as nice as that was for the England players of 2003, and also the crowd here today, to see them win the World Cup again, I'm sure that was a great source of inspiration for the Australian players. In the middle, it's Kurandrani up with the first tackle of this second half. England needing that first score, really. Dixon and Farrell, 3 first half misses off the kicking tee. Tamua, the try scorer.
That's in space.
And Cummins is a big man and really should have made more of that, having got there. He'll be very disappointed, Nick Cummins. In fact, I can hear him from here screaming his frustration.
Big hole there, really big hole. Matt Tamua again doing all the basics really well. It was a good kick. And the moment he struck that, I could see that Cummins had every chance of getting there. Look at the space now. Farrell comes forward and realises he's under pressure. That was loose from England. Disappointment for Cummins, but a very good kick from Tamua.
Honey Badger's paws letting him down there.
Does he go by the name Honey Badger?
He certainly does. Very proud of the fact. Farrell, lost by Tompkins. Cooper to Cummins. No clear advantage there for Australia. the bench options for England then?
Well, I must admit, there's a lot of faith placed in Owen Farrell, but it hasn't gone his way. Not just goal kicking, but his distribution hasn't been perfect, and it was emphasised then with him and Tompkins didn't work. I just think England at some stage have got to inject pace into this game. They've got to get front foot ball, and I think Toby Flood, who likes to play flatter than Owen Farrell, might just be the man to do that and try and get 12 trees and Tompkins in particular operating on or beyond the gain line, because right now the little ball England have to play with, they're playing it a little bit deep, and it's just a little bit tentative, everything in the midfield.
All the talk was they come out of the traps firing. Didn't go totally wrong in the first part of the game, but I don't think they've lived up to that.
Just stay that bit apart before it says set, then get in. Not before it. Square and steady before the ball comes in.
They just haven't started.
Yeah,
they haven't got a march on the game line, apart from Brown and a couple of carries and Billy Vunipola around the fringes. England just have not been able to get over that gain line, and they can't get people like Laws carrying, Launchbury carrying. It's all too little at the moment. Still a long time to go.
There's time to sort the issue, and still at the scrum, it's going in England's favour. Free kick this time.
Is Farrell going to bomb it?
He looks to Ashton, and also Tom Wood. Wood rises, Falau too. Knock on the call. Fine margins.
Well, that was good play from England. That was an excellent cross-field high ball there from Farrell. They weren't worried about taking on Israel Folau, because Tom Wood, big, powerful man, and he put Folau under pressure. Fortunately for England, the knock-on comes from the man wearing number 6. You can see his left hand. Good kick, though. That's much better from Farrell.
With Tom Wood on Thursday, and he was so revved up. Felt like he could play the game then. No doubt that England were getting themselves in the right place. Mike Brown in the wrong place here. Did really well to hold it up, and Ashton too nearly charged down, got it away from Quade Cooper. Tamua. Another very reliable boot on the field today. 12 trees. Another one of those. Went backwards off his shoulder though. Farrell. Wood almost took that away from Yard. Ashton. It's hardly fluid at the moment from England. Orwell's got it.
You need to get a bit of width here.
Genia. Tamua. Australia will be looking for width. That channel that has served them well in this game. Kurandrani. Hand off on Tompkins. Adam Ashley Cooper, Yard, flags out, has to be. Looked like a late challenge there.
Time off, please.
This could be a card as well.
What have you seen, Dudley?
Wide 11 has continued on his line after the ball's been kicked, and he's taken the goal player out.
Okay. What's your recommendation?
Be a penalty against 11 points.
Okay, in 15.
In 15.
Thank you.
No, it's not a card, Dudley Phillips.
Same as ever.
It's a late tackle by you and the opposing player. It's the second time I've had to talk to you now. Be very careful. So 10 in here, 15.
That's a late tackle from Marlon Yard. It was pretty slow thinking by England. We were sitting here, and you could see when Horwell won that kickoff that Australia had men wide. It was Adam Ashley Cooper, and that's a complete take out of the ball. And it's really unnecessary because Mike Brown's in a fine position. But again, England allowing themselves to get outflanked, and that's an inexperienced man making a really silly error there.
And the handoff from Kurandrani on Tompkins.
Yeah, Tompkins went high, didn't he? Test match, you don't get away from that. He's a big, strong man. Kurandrani did a lot of damage, didn't he, for the Brumbies against the Lions. Since then, he's gone into the Wallaby team to some effect, and that was the key to the break, wasn't it? The width and the fact that the missed tackle cost England.
Just looks made for international rugby. Kurandrani has done all the way through the season, playing Super Rugby with ACT Brumbies. This just his 6th cap, and this is handoff on Tompkins.
absolute class, Cringer. I have no idea how Robbie Deans wasn't picking him against the Lions in the summer. He's got power, he's got pace, he reads it well defensively. He really is a complete footballer, and yet with so few caps.
He's going to rack them up, isn't he, over the years? Here's Cooper for that first score of the second half, and he's missed. Could be a very important one, that. England need to make it a very important miss. Ewan McKenzie fidgets on the sideline. That would have given his side a little bit of breathing space.
Yeah, and when you've only won 3 games in 10 in the calendar year, you just want to give yourself a little bit of a buffer. They'll be nervous, Australia, as long as England stay close.
Here comes Yard, and Robshaw too, and England drive over. Oh, they don't like that, England. And then, as Genia points out, the ball is taken away from him quite cynically. No chance of a quick one.
Again, that's not bad, is it, from Tamua?
Well, he was going for the corner, of course. The line has to be 5 metres out anyway. Just risked it too much. Mike Brown, well, he's got the crowd out of their seats there. England need these little injections. Australia player is down. Be quite a bad one. Tompkins. Dixon. There's Mako Vunipola.
Careful back, you go for it back.
Dixon again, taken back inside. So Farrell does not look for touch. He finds Israel Folau. England get him early this time. Robshaw again, quick to get there, and it was worth getting there.
Russian's gone.
He's taken a quick one. It was not a knock-on, as you hear George Clancy say. The initial track of the ball was backwards. England might have got away with that. And here's Yard, blasting on the touchline. Oh, that's what he can do. That's what he brings to the team. The power.
And some pace there. That's a brilliant tackle from Adam Ashley Cooper. Scored key tries for Australia in that corner in the past. But that was Yard at his very best, flying down the touchline. Looked like England had got a little bit lucky. It seemed that there was a knock-on, but Yard exploded down that touchline.
Yeah, when I said England got away with it, not because it was the wrong decision. The ball went backwards, then if it bounced forwards, it's not a knock-on. Well played, Mike Brown.
Well, Brown has been the brightest spark for England. Well, his foot's in touch there. England really have got away with that. Adam Ashley Cooper's right hand is saying he's in touch, and he was.
Duncan Phillips there, the assistant, was craning to see. I think he had a view around Marlon Yard, but he's pretty big, isn't he, from waist down. He powers up the touchline there.
Well, he's left Genia and Kurindrani for dead with his sheer pace. But Adam Ashley Cooper, he's not the quickest, but he's been around so long. He's got his angles worked out. What a tackle by the right wing. That's probably the best rugby we've seen in this test so far. Brilliant from the England left winger, and even better from the Australian right winger covering.
And he's taken a blow, but it's Scott Fardy who's down, who is receiving treatment at the moment. So let's hear from Will again.
Thank you, Miles. Just talking about 2015 down here and understanding the power of the crowd, the power of this stadium. And yes, Ashton's tap and go looked a little bit loose, but suddenly the crowd were off their feet and up. You can't underestimate that in sport, to get the crowd up and into the game, play at plays, play at tempo. They haven't been able to generate that so far. And it might just be a little turnover like that, a tap and go from Ashton, that generates that enthusiasm and is this sort of sea change in the game.
It's all happening as well. Kepu's coming on, and Foley's coming on as well. That's for a blood injury. We saw Adam Ashley Cooper in trouble with blood. Fardy's been replaced by McCalman, and there Kepu is coming on, and the man who's going off is Ben Alexander. So that on the tight head side. Scott Fardy still receiving treatment, so I'll tell you live only on Sky Sports next week. You can see part 2 of the QBE Autumn International Series, England versus Argentina, Sky Sports 2, and also in 3D as well. And that's followed by the England women against the French women, and again Sky Sports 2 and in 3D.
It's a worry for Australia with Fardy down at the moment. He's a real scrapper around the fringes, but McCalman is a tough competitor who played a pretty good game in Dunedin, so I don't think a lot will be lost there.
Had his season wrecked, didn't he, last season with injury. Shoulder, then arm, fractures. But he's come back, started against New Zealand after replacement appearances in the Rugby Championship. He's got experience. This is his 28th cap.
Just sense now, this line-out is going to be so important for England to try and press, get something out of it. There's no doubt at all Mike Brown's tiptoes were on the line, and that would have been a 5-metre throw to Australia. Now, the assistant referee didn't see it, and England are 90 metres upfield, and they have got a real situation, putting pressure on the Australians. They've got a break, now they've got to capitalise upon it. Well, you can look at that, it's interesting, isn't it? Israel Folau, because of Cooper's passing game, it's got Folau wide and he's carried back. Mako and Billy have carried, Billy in particular has carried very well. And then Kurandrani will comment on him, and Mike Brown, probably in the pick of the English players.
Well, we had applause for the England team of 2003 earlier, but that's the most poignant reaction from the crowd today as we wish Scott Fardy well. I think he's okay, but we've got the stretcher cart on, which is good to see, in as much that that's the right way to exit if you have an injury on a rugby field. On many occasions you see players forced to hobble off when it must be creating more of an issue, but let's hope that Fardy is nothing more serious at the moment than precaution.
4-man line-out called by Australia. Launchbury is barely 10, but he's the man, if it goes over the top, is going for it.
All scrabbling this time. It's taken a few today, almost unopposed in the line-out. Charged down by England, this might break, it does! The captain's gone down to score after the former Australian captain went down in the line-out.
Okay, George, any reason not to award the try?
Well, it looks like England have got the luck they needed. Get the break with the official, you stay down there, you then got to make your luck. And Robshaw's reaction is quick. Is he onside? Charge count, Kenya having a difficult afternoon, hits McCalman. Oh, that's super finish there from Chris Robshaw. England's captain has scored.
George, I have a decision.
Yes.
There is no reason you may not award the try.
Thank you.
England right back in it, and it all came from that quick tap that was so nearly botched on halfway, but it enabled Marlon Yard to do what he does so well in club colours for London Irish. And then Chris Robshaw has got his first international try, and it was, even though it was from such short range, as you say, Stuart, a really good finish.
But it's a bit fortuitous as well, isn't it? It hits McCalman, number 20. Watch this. It's a great charge down. It's pressure. It hits McCalman, and Robshaw is the fastest man to it. South Africa scored a ricocheting sort of try of similar type last week and went on to win. England, you can't say they've deserved it, but sometimes you just take your luck when it's there.
Now Farrell and those kicking boots, are they back on? Yes, they are. He's plotting those coordinates to perfection again. Went off course in the first half, almost inexplicably. Seemed to be unsettled by it, couldn't really understand himself. But that's a conversion to the Robshaw score, and the captain sliding it.
A poacher's try from Robshaw.
Brown certainly played his part as well, as did the assistant, and Brown had his foot on the touchline. It's all part of the process of getting downfield, wasn't it?
I'd love to see it again because he is in touch. That was a really major call.
Major call.
Okay, winners, bring him on.
Here comes Farrell, it's gone backwards, has it? No. Oh.
You brought him on side by the time you had it.
The Australians were saying deliberately offside there from the high ball. Now, he's definitely in touch. There's no doubt at all, is there? I mean, everyone in England wants him to be in field, but he's not. Now the test for Australia, because they feel they're probably in charge after 5 minutes or so, but now they'll be rocked.
Genia to Cooper. He's going high. Kurandrani might have strayed a little bit there as well. Brown, that was a very difficult one to catch.
You're not jumping for any ball here.
And impeding in the air. Folau going in. The fantastic flying Folau, but not that time.
Now England have got to just play on Australia here. Just 3 wins in 10 games. They have been improving, but winning is such a crucial habit, and the Australians are used to losing. England in the next 10 have really got to get forward and grind Australia and put some pressure. We've seen a couple of bits of loose play from the Wallabies. That penalty from Folau is unusual. England needs now to take a little bit of territorial control here.
Only one draw between these two in the history of the meetings. 1997, the first game of then just Clive Woodward's reign. Now Sir Clive, that's not straight, and England's demons at the line-out have not gone away this afternoon.
No, it's not been a great afternoon for Tom Youngs. 2 overthrown, and that one's just not straight there. Gone to the towel, Laws wins it. Will Dylan Hartley be entering the fray? He would have been very close with Tom Youngs in the battle to start the game had he not taken a little bit of the knock. The Northampton hooker is in really good form.
More throws to Horwell. Said that a few times today. Kurandrani carries well once more. England about to bring on Marler and Ben Youngs. Joe Marler the prop. Youngs the scrum half. That's Kopi Kepu, another player on the field with Tongan parents. Reaction there from McCallum might just have saved his team. England, though, are very interested. Courtney Laws.
Big shoulder from Laws, that's brilliant.
Then goes Tompkins, then it's Farrell. Launch spree to Tom Youngs.
Stay.
Dixon and Farrell. It's looking smoother between those two now. And that's smoother off the boot as well from Owen Farrell. And his body language altogether different as he jauntily goes upfield there.
Well, that's the best moment of the game for Owen Farrell. That's a super kick. He just said England really needs to put some pressure on territorially. He's done that. Now look at Courtney Laws working so hard. Dan Cole first of all, Vunipola in, and then Laws senses it, bang. Takes out McCalman. You've got the turnover, really aggressive.
We've lost to Vunipola, Mako for Joe Marler. Dylan Hartley is on for Tom Youngs. We've gained a Youngs in Ben Youngs for Lee Dixon. Tamua, England looking for another charge down. Good pressure from Tom Wood. Promised to be a loyal lieutenant. Is in constant contact with Chris Robshaw through all the debate in the newspapers, television, radio, saying let's not get wrapped up in this.
The crowd finally are getting wrapped up in this game, aren't they? And Will was talking down at the touchline about the sort of the subconscious impact of the crowd. They are now getting behind England. There's a sense that there's a change.
Robshaw, the captain, feeds to Ben Youngs, and then Billy Vunipola, that's what he's in the side to do. Back to Ben Youngs, and England are moving now. Farrell goes on to Ashton. Mike Brown takes it, looks to try and make a hole there in the Australian defence, but they have got across very well indeed. Ben Youngs again to Joe Launchbury and Joe Marler. Once more, he's got a good record against Australia. Wing position here, but England concentrate through the middle first with Tom Wood. Ben Youngs, nice service onto Tompkins, supported by Hartley. Good wrestling from the Saracen. Ben Youngs to Robshaw. It's a different England now. Laws has left the wing and he waits ominously for Australia. But first it's Hartley, another Northampton Saint. Robshaw and Launchbury with him. In comes Laws. This will be taking it out of the Wallaby defence. Tough moments these. Farrell to Twelvetrees, his turn maybe to blast through. Ben Youngs to Farrell. Oh, he's got his head down here, saw the net! And Twickenham rises as one to salute that score from Owen Farrell.
Marshall, can you hear me? I just want to check for an obstruction there, please.
Just in case.
Check for obstruction.
The way
okay.
is created. George Clancy goes to Marshall Kilgore again.
Takes a very good line, Owen Farrell. He's on the blind side, he comes very late, and the Australians don't see him coming. You can see him left to right. Is there going to be an obstruction? Well, Steve, you can see Moore gets to him to make the tackle. I guess technically you could say yes, but Moore's right there under him. It's a big call not to give it.
Hartley is sort of taking the right line, isn't he, to create the space for his own man. He's got Moore behind him. He looks straight over to the referee, Dylan Hartley, but I don't think he's looking where Moore is. Let's see.
Well, I think he just leans into him. All I'll say is there would be a justification not to give it, but it would take a very big call from George Clancy not to. I think a try will be given here. What's TMO going to say? I mean, he has opened the game, Mars.
Yeah, he's aware there that Moore was hovering.
George,
Yes, Marshall.
I have a decision.
Yeah, Marshall, from what I have seen, there isn't enough obstruction there to disallow the try.
I agree completely.
Thank you.
Referee's happy. And so are England.
Well played, Owen Farrell, scooted from left to right. Dylan Hartley, just the right degree of obstruction. In the words of the referee, Miles, there wasn't enough obstruction. There was obstruction, but not enough.
Well, the line that Hartley takes is acceptable, isn't it? Because he can see Farrell coming.
Don't think it is if you're an Australian.
No, I appreciate that, and I appreciate, it could have gone either way.
But that's really good for Farrell. He comes left to right. He's got the backs beaten there. So I think Moore gets there to make the tackle, but they will look at that and say, but whether he's there or not, he could have been in an even better position to make that tackle had Hartley not eased into him. Interested to hear what Michael would say about that, Mr. Liner.
It will be debated. If it makes the difference, my goodness, it will be debated. Australia to put in. Good response from them. I'm in the studio, of course, watching this, Michael Liner. What is your view, Michael?
So it's well done, Farrell. Unfortunate, Dylan Hartley. I think the bottom line is Farrell probably scores anyway.
Yellier, Cooper and Cummins. I'm not sure if Michael wants to be a magistrate, but he could be after that. Cooper again. Genia to Ben Moen. Knocked forward first. Australia had stopped. Farrell hadn't.
Whistle blown. He's had a bit of a nightmare, Will Genia, hasn't he? Such a good player, but it's not happening for him at the moment. And suddenly Australia, they look a different team to the team that were leading at 45 minutes, 13-6. They're tentative, they're making errors. Things have gone against them very quickly. It's a big 14-point swing for England in no time at all. Genia, so quick normally, looks up to see where am I going, eye off the ball. It's an error.
Moments in the Lions series when he looked a world beater again. Another knock on. England look to make hay from this one.
Still advantage. There's a carry back in.
But it's not really been Genia's year.
Use it!
Ben Young's meant for mile and yard, but also the touchline as well.
Did that bounce? Bounce and play?
Clancy checking it bounced because he said that the ball was brought back in from Young's. So it needs to bounce. It does bounce, comes back on itself. Big test for Australia now. Wobbling a bit, the Wallabies, they've got to get this wheel moving.
10 in 5, line it over.
More Horwell. So that was sleep tonight. Genia. Cooper. Ben Robinson now on the field. Through goes launch spree. Oh! That's how to deal with it, I suppose. Cooper. Well judged.
Be careful, be careful.
Well judged kick from Cooper. Well judged tackle from Courtney Laws. Perfect timing on Quade Cooper. Good rugby all round here. Just watch this now, the timing of this tackle. Superb there from Courtney Laws, and a really good kick from Quade Cooper.
2 second rows there, Tamani and Laws right on the edge, right where they need to be.
Tamani's off now.
That's his final act.
1 in 5, line it over. Sack immediately. Stay inside now. No.
Hartley back at Twickenham, of course, where his season ended not the best way. Cummins. Ashton times it. Kane Douglas is the man on, by the way, for Tamani. And losing that is Tamua. Hacked on his yard, just couldn't take it. 12 threes. Still on. Robshaw and Ben Youngs. He's got a couple of tries in Australia against Australia. His yard. As England look for their third score of this second half. Robshaw and Farrell have crossed that line. No second half points from Australia. Tompkins after this, he's a tall man, but not quite that tall, although Brown's gone through on that. If Kurandrani and Genia did not ground that.
Marshall George here, can you hear me?
Yes, George, I can hear you.
Can you check on the touchdowns, please?
Okay, checking the touchdowns.
Brown, which is why George Clancy's making sure that Kurandrani gets this right. Yeah. I think in the light of the last couple of decisions, it would be a bit harsh on Australia. That's not a judged touchdown there. Yeah, it is.
Now you're making a bid to be a magistrate in the light of the last two decisions.
You're correct, George.
Not that it makes any difference really, but
22.
Classic example there, you know. Australia, that pass from Quade Cooper just floated out, to Tamua in their own 22, just outside their own 22. There's 17 minutes to go. They had no numbers out wide, and they've stopped playing. The percentages, it's Australia overplaying, and England almost a major beneficiary. That would have been game, I think.
And 100% clear touchdown there from Kurandrani. Not that England will have complaints. They still don't have the match. Still over 15 minutes to go of what is now exciting international rugby here at Twickenham. Farrell. It's a bit of a roll on that. Not quite enough for Genia. Cooper. Oh, that's brilliant. Almost. The tap was just enough. And Hartley back at him.
He was never going to kick now, was he? Never.
Absolutely not. Genia again, back to Tamua, that other option. As Lealiafano is in that role as well. 12 trees. England getting on with it. Mike Brown said, OK, well, if we're doing that, a little bit higher next time, please. And Mike Brown, as a consequence, in trouble.
First infringement is wide off the field.
Quite frankly, that is just gifting the possibility of points to the opposition.
Now, Quade Cooper surely has to go for 3 points. In Test match rugby, 15 minutes to go. I'd imagine Australia have to try and get within a try of winning this game here.
Real momentum shift, isn't it, since Cooper missed that penalty. Tamua was unlucky with the penalty kick to judge England. It's almost as though someone's gone on and given them a proverbial slap to the face and said, come on, get in, throw the textbook away, get over the game line, hit things, smash breakdowns. Law's in the middle of it. I think Launchbury's outstanding. And then we get a nice line out from Hartley coming on with his first throw. Billy Vunipola around the corner into Quade Cooper. And we're playing this pace. Just sometimes it's so difficult. First game since March. You want to do everything technically correct. And you can forget occasionally it's about getting a ball and going forward. And that's much more what England have been about in the second half.
And England just a little bit wrapped up in the pace of things there, weren't they, with 12 trees and his delivery to Brown. It's a good chase, though, from Australia.
I think it goes back to what Will was just saying. England have accelerated their pace, and they didn't quite control it there. Didn't help that it was a really poor throw that put Mike Brown under a lot of pressure from Billy 12 trees. But Will's absolutely right. It's almost as if England have been thinking, what have we been practicing? What have we been doing in these training sessions? And now they've switched the flick and bang, different. But this kick goes over, and Australia believe in themselves again. If it doesn't, Miles, I think it's quite a long way for the Wallabies back.
It's finding the balances, isn't it, in that first game. Not easy for England. Australia have been together for quite a while now as a group, but they needed that score. They really needed that one from Quade Cooper. Still have the possibility, real possibility, at least a draw, and maybe more. That would have made the victory right back on. England triple change coming on. Davy Wilson at prop. But then Cole. That was a close score apparently in the selection for this game. So Wilson has a chance. Ben Morgan's on to replace Billy Vunipola. Change of engine there at number 8. Toby Flood too. Trying to be the finisher. You can see Nick White on for Australia. Scrum half. Flood, England's most experienced player in the 23. White. Cooper. Ooh, good line from Douglas, but that's fallen for Flood. Looks for the handoff. Youngs united with his club colleague Flood at half-back. If required, of course, Farrell's still out there. I think we'll see a bit of a mix and match situation going on there. There is Farrell as first receiver, didn't get to Flood. Ashton.
Farrell took a real smack there. I think it was Kane Douglas. Really took him hard.
He's a hard young man and he's hurting there. Down on halfway. Ben Morgan will be hurting with Billy Vunipola having arrived and taken the starting position. Tom Wood, really good from Wood again. Another Northampton player who's in prime form. Young's well covered by White. And Falau. Those boots looking brighter by the minute.
Nothing there
Dusk.
at all. Nothing there.
In the air now, is victory in the air for England. Farrell still grimacing through the pain of the hit, but he covered really well. That's a half volley, but out on the full.
Definitely it's going England's way at the moment. Getting very physical. He did take a right old hammering, but he's one of the toughest fly halves in the game. Moen first of all. Oh, it's a thunderous hit there from Kane Douglas. And watch them now. Well, if you stay on it, Kane Douglas gives him a little welcome pat on the face. White on the left foot there.
The old 1-2.
Yeah. Facing the dirt time for Owen Farrell, that was horrible.
Taken by Laws. Back together with Hartley, again that club combination.
That's one scrum half, once.
Kane Douglas' older brother Luke is with the Scotland squad in the Rugby League World Cup. They both pack a punch. It's Robshaw. England not protecting it like they should there, given the score, given the clock.
Cooper had the chance at 13-6 to make it a 2-score game. That's more than 7 points required. England same position now, 2013. They get another 3-pointer. The game is done. It is dusted. As long as the Aussies are within 7 and the strike power they still have out there, total focus required.
White's given that away to Brown.
The little errors are really racking up though, aren't they, against the Aussies in the last 10-15.
It's that point you were making maybe about their lack of victories in this calendar year and the doubts that they will have. And as Will was saying there, they didn't quite push England into panic mode, needing those 2 scores. Kind of gap in the international game, even though points can come quickly, just ask New Zealand. The kind of gap is one that makes teams worry. No doubt about that. Cooper in midfield, finds for Lau. Mistake Kurandrani, given to Cummins. Cummins, who scored here in victory a year ago. Cooper again, taken by Tamua. Good tackle from Courtney Laws. Piles in. White to Fainga, who's on at hooker. Well, it looked dramatic, but Australia still have the ball with Adam Ashley Cooper. Yard is trying to tell the officials he's not putting in a late tackle that time, and he wasn't. Ashton, well, he loves this, or maybe not that. He likes the space, but it was swallowed very quickly in front of him. But England get the penalty this time, and a chance just to calm it down and play the leadership game.
No real leadership there, though, from Ben Moen. Just as in the first half, Genia just walked blatantly round offside. Moen's gone all the way around the side of the property. Welcoming committee there for Chris Ashton. England under a bit of pressure, and look at the number 8 there. That is not the stuff of leadership. That is not what Australia needed 2013 down. Subject to number 8, I must say. I think Billy Vunipola went well today. He's been one of England's best players. Did most of the things Stuart Lancaster and co would have asked of him.
England wanting him to run out of energy. That was the instruction. Knowing that Morgan can come on. Taken by Robshaw. Looking to close this one out. Unlike a year ago. All came right against New Zealand, but England left it late in the series to find that sort of form. And they start a series with a win over a big Southern Hemisphere team here. Marlon Yard. Stripped in the tackle. Kempu out from McCalman. Now it's Tamua. Adam Ashley Cooper can see what's on. Kurandrani gives it to Cummins. He's got Folau outside. It'll show and go from Cummins. This is lovely play from him. Taken down by Mike Brown. And he's still hanging on. Folau again. England trying to get the men back. In goes Toby Flood. White leaves it. Given to Tamua. At least it's a penalty for Australia. But they seek more here. White to Horwell.
Super counter-attack, that really was.
White again to Tamua. Cooper just took his eyes off things, but he got away with it and got away from Morgan. Hartley gets back. White, that's gone forward. It's also gone into the hands of Tompkins, but the referee is pulling them back again. It was a penalty advantage.
Now here's an interesting call. Craig Cooper's missed two as the crowd boo on. Penalty advantage being played. Having just missed two kicks, I would think now, that Cooper would want to go for the corner, having missed two. With 6 minutes to go, they use a minute and they miss the kick. It's going to be tough and tough. So Tamua is going for the corner, but he's got to find it. Not bad.
Captain.
Not bad. That's a great counter-attack, wasn't it? Super pace from Cummings, but the forwards, the way they just worked the space and just ripped England wide, that was classy.
Tens times, it's a win that means so much to both teams for different reasons, but they meet in the middle. The one reason they're meeting in the World Cup pool on this ground. Only one other meeting before that game here at Twickenham in a year's time. These are marker matches, and everybody knows it. Robshaw tries to take control of this. Hooper, last year's man of the match. Bainga. Nick White. He's going to leave it to Horwell. Who goes?
No material.
England throw the bodies in low. Cut off at source. Martin looks over the referee and Morgan too, but it's a play on from George Clancy. About to drift into the final 5 minutes then. Conversion's important as well. Cooper knows that. But he's looking for the try first, and Folau, what a step. Left yard for dead there. They know it's coming, but they can't do anything about it. When Israel Folau steps like that. In goes White again. Robinson's lost it, not forward. England hold firm. Still work to be done though.
Well, Yard missed his man. He actually did a pretty good job because he didn't let Folau go on that wide arc he's used to such deadly effect in his Test career. He forces him inside him, he beats him, but then England have got an army of white shirts coming. It's a great pass from Cooper. The step into 1, 2, 3, 4 Englishmen there. If he is going to beat you, let him beat you on the inside. Tompkins was very quick in there, Farrell there, Brown. Robshaw says, come on, we're almost there.
It's all part of the education process for Robshaw's team. Yard, just his second cap. Average age, 24, we shouldn't forget that, but this is all about preparation now towards that World Cup.
Can do it later if you want.
Go on, do it now, Will.
Oh, thank you. I was just talking about the culture just in front of Stuart Lancaster. Occasionally there have been errors today, haven't they? But the desire to make that next tackle, yeah, they've slipped off a couple, but the culture, the work ethic to get on the inside shoulder and cover your mate has been outstanding this second half. Was it worth waiting for, Miles?
It was. Always is.
Set! Yes, no.
Little turn on the scrum. George Clancy will look at that. That won't hurt England too much. Reset scrum. Atwood part of it on for Launchbury.
There have been bigger ironies, haven't there? Australia suddenly finding themselves getting a free kick. Chris Robshaw's shouting to George Clancy, watch them walking around. They're trying to buy a penalty, convince the referee it's England. That's what the England captain's telling George Clancy anyway. Watch them walking round. Now does Hartley strike?
Crouch! Bind! Set!
It's the old twiddle on the ball. We saw it from Guinea just before half-time. Young's can't do it for 3 minutes. He'd like to, but England get the penalty. He'll like that. And so do the Twickenham crowd. Good effort again from the pack. They have delivered at the scrum.
key scrums, key times. The England pack have done the job needed, and it's not just the 8, it's a squad that have come in. Marla's come on for Vunipola. So remember that Corbisiera's not there. Good strength and depth. And Davy Wilson, who is pushing Dan Cole very hard, does a cracking job there, doesn't he? He's got Ben Robinson on toast. That might just be the scrum that wins England this first QBE international.
Good impact off the bench then, Hartley part of that. Throws to Laws. That seems to be going much better now as well. Morgan still attached, needs to stay so, and it's certainly still on the move. England inside of the halfway line here. 2 minutes left. They do not want to give a penalty away though. Youngs knows that. Goes for the short side, finds Robshaw. Leading from the front again. Youngs. Good carry from Wood. Robshaw Wood more and more into the match, and Wilson's dropped it. Had hands on the Cook Cup there, England.
Still got one hand on it. And I think the man who's done more than anything to put England in a winning position has been this man, Mike Brown. It has been a scrappy game, but at full-back, he has played with calm assurance throughout. He's instigated much of England's best counter-attacking. His kicking game has been good. He's been a spark that's lifted this crowd, and he made a massive tackle here on Nick Cummins that might just have made sure England win this game. My QBE, man of the match, is Harlequins and England fullback Mike Brown.
And here's the most important scrum of the match, as Australia look to stay firm and get that ball out quickly, which they do. Tompkins and Farrell, the Wigan boys, trying to hold him up. Farrell screaming that his side should get the decision. They do. And with that, England surely have the game, the way the scrum has gone. One more scrum, and it is the Cook Cup.
Well, that sums up exactly what Will was saying down on the touchline. It's not been a perfect display, but the sheer will and commitment, that choke tackle and the reaction of Owen Farrell there. A lot of winners from 2003, but certainly mentally, this team, they've got a real edge to them. They've got a long way to go technically, but that's superb. Laws involved, Brown at the back, clearing.
Well, it hurts for Australia, as it doesn't hurt here for England, or shouldn't. Keep their form at the scrum. Good strike by Hartley. The clock is in red, and it's a penalty. So now we know and how this England team yearns to deliver that perfect 3 out of 3 autumn series. Well, this is going to be that all-important first stride. A new cap man, Joel Tompkins, breathes a sigh of relief. Oh, get out of the way, Courtney Laws, he does. And Owen Farrell puts it into the stand. And England show in the second half that this is their manner.
Well, it's an important win for England. It wasn't perfect, as we said, but remember, England's last Grade 1 major test was Wales in Cardiff, and that was a horrendous 80 minutes. They've come back to the big time against Australia. They haven't been at their best, but they have grafted their way into the game in the second half, and they have taken their opportunities. When they needed a bit of luck, they got it, but in the last 25, they took control of this game and ended up the better team. They will need to get better as New Zealand looms on the horizon, but the key today was to start the season with a win.